It's the same thing with a number of other areas of alternative energy, like battery technology. We've asked the legislature to pass the most aggressive incentives in the nation for the development of the battery that is going to propel the electric vehicle. We know the electric vehicle is going to be one of the next waves of the future. And you better believe we want that vehicle and the guts of that vehicle manufactured here. So fortunately, our plan to diversify, our economic agenda, dovetails with the Obama administration's recovery plan and their agenda. So we're able to take advantage of that and put the pedal to the metal. It's true with diversification. It's also true with education. We have a goal of doubling the number of college graduates in Michigan. We have focused strategically on lifting the standards for high school graduates, providing access to college by giving every child a $4,000 scholarship to college. We've created 21st century schools in different cities around the state. Just asked the legislature to pass this. Small high schools that have rigor, relevance, and relationship with adults. We're focusing on all of that. The Obama administration is as well, and they are providing resources to be able to propel that agenda. And then, of course, protecting people during this really, really hard time. Making sure that we're not cutting people off of health care at a time when they need it most and many people are thrown out of work. Making sure that we are protecting their pocketbooks and their physical safety as well. So, let me just be specific about what the recovery plan does. For those of you, this is a very big act. There are 100 specific programs that money is shot to the states through, 100 of them. They were smart because they picked existing programs so that we wouldn't have to spend the time reinventing the wheel on how to distribute the funds. They wanted to get the money out quickly, and they wanted to get it out through programs that have established track records. So, for example, we received a big chunk of money for Medicaid. We want to make sure that we're not cutting people off of health care at a time when things are counter-cyclical. In other words, government needs to provide more services at a time when we receive less dollars through taxes. That counter-cyclical effort means that we need additional assistance from the federal government, and it's one of the categories of funding that they provided. In fact, Michigan, hang on, you do that for me. It's not that I'm not strong, I just don't have two hands. In fact, you want me to help you? All right. Thank you. Michigan is going to get, thanks, that's good, that's great. Michigan is going to get $18 billion. $18 billion. Now, which is great, right? Yeah, woo, bring it on. Unlike the governors from some other states, we're taking it all, baby, and we're going to be first in line for when they refuse theirs or don't use theirs correctly. So we need all the help we can get. But the $18 billion comes in a couple of different categories. So you should be aware of this. $11 billion of the $18 billion is in the form of tax cuts. $11 billion. That's business tax cuts, individual tax cuts, and I'll talk about that in just one second. $7 billion of it comes through the state, through these formulas, as I discussed, these 100 different programs. So we don't have discretion on the vast majority of the dollars that come to the state. And then there's a third category. So tax cuts is one place. The biggest chunk comes through tax cuts. The second biggest chunk comes directly to the state through these formula dollars. And the third chunk comes to the state, or can come to the state, through competitive grants. And there are 43 categories of competitive grants. A lot of those are directly applied for by local units of government, local organizations, 501c3s. We in Michigan want to encourage everyone who is head of an organization to check our website at michigan.gov/recovery and see if you're eligible to apply for one of these grants, because nationwide, people are going to be competing. And there will be, I think, extra, and this is me guessing, this is not me saying for sure this is going to happen, but it would make sense if there is consideration given to the areas of the country that have the highest unemployment. So we are positioned to be able to go after those dollars, and I encourage you, michigan.gov/recovery, to do that. We have set up an economic recovery office in the state. We are one of 16 states that the General Accounting Office has selected to be able to visit twice a month to make sure that we are spending the money wisely and advising others wisely on how to spend it. Now, normally auditors come in after the fact, right, and check you out, and if you did it wrong, you have to pay it back. We're not going to do that. And they're here on the front side to advise us on the front side about how to do this right. And that's why we want to do it right, because the states that do it right and the General Accounting Office, that transparency, that accountability, that's got to be reported to Congress every 2 months. So we are going to do it right, and we want to be one of the states that's in line for the states that, for the money from the states that don't do it right.